Welcome to the Perrysburg Podcast, episode 156. I'm your host, Perrysburg resident Kim Newlove. The Perrysburg Podcast is a resource for Perrysburg residents and visitors. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. Our website is perrysburgpodcast.com. Joy Studer and Caroline Hoffmann from Historic Perrysburg, Inc. return to the show today to talk about Sips and Stories. Sips and Stories is a community event coming up in October. Sips and Stories is part history tour, part live theater, and part citywide adventure. During our conversation, you'll hear about the sips, the stories, the trolley rides, the storytellers, when and where the event will take place, how you can participate, and more. Now, without further ado, here's my conversation with Joy and Caroline. Welcome back to the podcast, Joy and Caroline. How you doing?
Doing great. Wonderful.
Awesome. I hear we're going to be talking about Sips and Stories today. Joy, what is Sips and Stories?
Well, first of all, thank you, Kim, for having us back again and having the opportunity to talk about this. It's one of the 4 flagship events the city of Perrysburg planned for the 250th semi-sesquicentennial, big word, celebrations for the anniversary of the United States. And Historic Perrysburg, Inc., which I am president of, along with the city of Perrysburg, the Rotary Community Foundation, and Experience Perrysburg, which is also the chamber, is excited to host this Sips and Stories event on October 24th, 2026. It is the final flagship event. It will bring a large number of residents, visitors, and history lovers directly into our downtown district. And it will be quite an experiential event. We will have hop-on, hop-off trolleys running from 12 until 4 p.m. So if you've ever been in one of the major metropolitan areas and you've ridden one of the old town trolleys and you know that they make a loop around those areas and you can get off and on at significant stops, that's how these will operate. They will be guided by 2 local historians, Gary Franks and Richard Baranowski, who know anything there is to know about Perrysburg and the surrounding areas. And then an even more engaging, fun piece of this is we will have storytellers, portrayers, first-person reenactors in the 100, 200 blocks and from Hood Park down to Riverside Park. We even may have some significant historic characters such as George Washington, Betsy Ross, Thomas Jefferson, and I know for sure Uncle Sam will be there.
How fun.
And we're going to engage with the children. We think it's a wonderful day to engage with the kids. Those portrayers and storytellers will have tokens that will say on them, I met Betsy Ross or I met Benjamin Franklin. And when they get that token, they will be able to take their tokens back to Oh Dear Diner at the end of the afternoon for a free ice cream. So the merchants in town have really begun to lean in and make it a really fun day. There's a few secret things we're not going to drop yet that are going to happen, some very iconic things about the town. Baranowski's Diner was here, very popular, very significant, iconic location. So we have some really fun things that are in the works for families to do. And then at the end of the day, around 5 o'clock, we will bring all of our storytellers and our portrayers and reenactors to the gazebo at the Commodore Building, which we've all know all summer long, that's Music at the Market location. So we will be there for a final concert from 5 until 6:30 with the Bradburys, who are very fun and engaging as well. Also, they will be able to meet and greet with those historic storytellers and portrayers for 10 or 15 minutes. They'll take a curtain call. Special guest Ryan Weekman will be joining us, and he will make a toast to the town and to the history of the country. So it's quite a busy day, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. When does it start?
Noon, 12 p.m.
Okay, from 12 till at least 6, right?
So the trolleys will run from 12 to 4. The last trolley will step away from the Louisiana Avenue location right outside the library. That's where you will find the trolleys. They will be pretty significantly marked. There's a white one and a red one. So you can't miss them. And the last one will depart at 4 o'clock and then return probably around 4:45. So that will be, if you want to make sure you're there, 4 o'clock is the last departure time for one of those trolley rides.
Okay. I hear a lot about the story part. Caroline, do you want to tell me about the sip part?
The sip part is engaging the area restaurants to partake. And I don't know that it's all nailed down yet, but number one, we are in the Dora footprint. So engaging people to come out and partake of our local restaurants. But we're hoping that a few of them might make kind of historically themed beverages for the day. And so people will have that little taste of history that way, as well as through the events of the day on the trolleys. So that's kind of the SIPs. And this actually builds on the original SIPs and stories that HPI did 2 years ago, which was just along Louisiana and then a little bit towards Hood Park and over. But that was a fabulous turnout when we had reenactors as well then, but it was a walking tour. We got a whole lot of interest. I mean, way more than we expected. People really raved about it. They really enjoyed it. And at that time, we had Carlos at Lupita's really stepped up, as he always does. He's such a booster for the town. But at that one, he made us a special drink and walking app that you could take with you as part of your ticket. So that was the SIP at that time. But we felt that there was still some good recall about that event. And we thought, let's just explode it 10 times the size. And that is where the name came from.
Thank you very much. You both did a great job talking about the SIPs and the stories. Now, when it comes to this event, I've never been there before. I've never been to Sips and Stories, and it sounds like you've only done it once previous. Is that right?
That's correct.
It was a pilot program, actually. We put it together in about 2.5 months, but it was a lot of fun. We had an overwhelming response. It was a walkable tour at that time. We had to lock it out at 75 participants. We had a few walk-ups because as we got out on the street, garnered a lot of curiosity. People were like, what are you doing? Can we join you? And so we did have quite a few people join us that day, which was wonderful as well. But when Tim Anstead came to us and said, we'd really like to expand this event and make it one of the flagship events for the 250th, we thought it would be a good opportunity to really do something fun and engaging. The downtown, as you know, has been under renovation, and so the merchants have had a hard summer with that, and I'm sure the foot traffic's down. So our purpose, and one of the major purposes of this, was to bring all of the townspeople and visitors back to that area so that we increase that foot traffic and keep the momentum moving and start engaging back in the shops. And it's the end of the season, so the markets, we're beyond that point. And some of the things that happen here in the summer, we're beyond. So we're trying to keep a little momentum through the fall.
Yes, our downtown with the revitalization, it's coming along. I see it, but you're right, that timing is really good. I looked at my calendar. It is a Saturday, October 24th, and the revitalization is scheduled to be done at the end of construction season, whatever that is. I think it's the end of November. So you're right. It's going to be kind of towards that. And you're right. I think it'll be a great time for everybody to come out and remember some of their favorite downtown businesses.
I think they're doing fairly well, but this will be good to get everybody back.
I love seeing the social posts they do about what was done this week and what's coming next week. They're doing a really good job of letting everyone know how it's progressing, and it serves as that reminder to still think of your local shops first, even though it might be a little bit more difficult than usual.
I follow the city of Perrysburg on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
Is that what you're watching too, Caroline? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they do a good job. And some of them even have music attached to them, which I think is interesting. Yeah, I saw something actually going on at the sewage treatment plant, which I know is not an exciting thing, but it was set to music and it makes it a little more interesting. So good job, Casey Kenworthy. I know
Oh,
he's the public information officer. I know he's doing wonderful things over there with
we'll
the
let them
social
know.
media outreach.
He
Yeah.
really is.
Hopefully he's listening to this. Kudos to you, Casey. All right. Well, we talked about when it's going to be Saturday, October 24th, and you talked about the trolley walking through, and you hinted that the first time you did it, there were 75 people, and you're blowing it up tenfold. So tell me, what kind of participation are you expecting this time?
I would guess we're probably going to see 300 people, I would expect that day. We're tracking the analytics on Facebook and some other sites, trying to see what interest we're getting, and it's pretty extensive. I mean, the number's pretty big. My jaw dropped when I saw the interest. Now, obviously, interest doesn't mean they're coming, but we have barely begun to push the marketing, which will really get a push this week and next week, and we'll keep pushing now until the event.
And the trolleys are really what helps make it 10. When I say tenfold, I mean our physical distance is much greater than it was on our pilot program. And there's just so many more layers to what the event includes. And one thing that we should point out, when it was a walking tour, that makes it not accessible to a lot of people, whether you are a family dragging small children along or you're someone older that maybe can't walk that far. So that's going to help us increase right there who we're serving. But the other thing is the trolleys are actually great whether the weather is hot or cold, rainy or dry. So we feel like we've kind of planned for any eventuality because we know October can be beautiful as a summer day or it can be bitterly cold.
Yeah, or rainy. Yeah.
Or rainy. So we're ready for any eventuality with the weather, which will also help reassure people that, I'm not going to be sweating. I'm not going to be freezing cold on this. It's going to be comfy for them all along.
We are pretty well inclement weather secure. So that's and the trolleys are very charming. They're just like an old town trolley with their wood inside with brass poles and bars and things like that. So, and they are one white and one red, and the white one is accessible. There is accessibility on that. It's a little bit bigger. So that's the one you're going to want to look for if you have some accessibility that you need. And I should point out some of the stops. The 577 Foundation is actually planning an event there. That will be a stop. And I believe the plan, not down in stone yet, but the goal is to open Virginia's home because the community doesn't get to see it very often. So that would be the goal there, is to get people to be able to see that beautiful home and see what other things that the 5-7 has to offer. And the fall will be a really pretty time to do that.
And it's a chance for them to tell their story to potentially people that aren't familiar with it.
Right. And the Spafford House Museum is stop 1, and that's on State Route 65, and they are opening their doors admission-free that day. So when that's the first stop, when you drive into the museum, you'll be able to have a tour of that building, no charge. From there, they go across to the fort, where there will be reenactors at the roundabout as the trolley pulls in. So if they depart and choose to stay there, they can enter the fort that day with admission, or they can go to the museum building and the bookstore, the gift shop that's there, and maybe get some things with the holidays coming. They can maybe buy some gifts for Christmas. I know there's some pretty cool stuff.
Buy a family membership while you're there. It
Yeah.
can last you the whole year.
Yeah. And then they come, it'll be a slow roll through the cemetery, so we're very respectful. But there's some iconic markers there and the townspeople who helped create Perrysburg. So there's a little bit of history there they'll cover as they kind of slow roll through there. Let me see. Stop 4 is the municipal building. And folks will be able to get off and meet and talk to Mayor Mark. He'll be there, and I'm sure they'll have some fun things going on there. And then the trolley comes back uptown. They'll be stopping at 2nd and Louisiana. So right on the corner there, and that's where you can access, all the stores, all the shops. If you want to stop there and get off, get your sips, get your stories all at the same time. And then it will take a right turn and go down past the Caroline. It'll go down through the historic district, and it'll talk about some of the homes there and who built them and why the history is significant to the region. And then that's where they'll turn and go to 5-7. And from 5-7, they'll come back up Front Street to Hood Park. We will have stories about the Underground Railroad. We will have Native American culture. We will have some military history and veterans all the way down to Riverside Park, where our Gold Star Monument is. And we will have a Gold Star family there. I believe there's a story from a perspective of a World War II mother and a son, which might be pretty moving and pretty awesome, actually, to see that, to hear that story. And that will be in costume, I believe. And then turn left at the Civil War General's house, which a lot of people do not know that home was a Civil War general. He's kind of fallen into a memory, and not many people know about him.
I don't even know which house you're referring to. Which house is that?
It's right on the corner of Cherry and Front. It's the black one with the double porch. We are still looking for a Civil War general, though, who would like to portray that man. And we can provide the script. And so if anybody's listening and they're interested, we would love to hear from you.
Are you looking for an older person, a younger person, or somebody who just likes to dress in uniform?
Either one, actually. We can write the script for each piece of that.
I'm guessing that John Thompson over there at Fort Meigs Historic Site knows somebody. He's the manager of historic programming. So I can email him for you. There you go.
Terrific.
Perfect.
All right. Well, boy, this is great. Did I miss anything with the stops? There's so many. This is awesome.
Some of the stops are not a get off stop. It's more, as Joy said, talking. Like there'll be some talk about all the churches in town. That's one of them. So they might not park at a church and get off, but they might slow roll past them and talk about all the churches in town. The Wood County Jail, which my former home, they will stop there and talk about the jail and have someone speak about the history there. Caroline, I believe, is the same thing. It's you can get off if you want and walk around, but it's not a stop to go into. Yeah. It's a stop where they'll talk about the history.
I don't think they'll be stopping at the Caroline.
Okay.
I think it's
slow
just
roll.
Kind of going to be as we go down the road, they have their list of topics that they're going to talk to. And actually, the Presbyterian Church is a stop. And
will there be pie?
I hope. We're talking about
For
it.
real?
Yeah.
Presby pies.
I know about the Presby pies.
Yeah.
Usually they sell them on Thursdays before
and
the
sell out
farmers
so
market.
fast. Sometimes you just
And
got to
they're
get there
little.
before they say the time is.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
So, yes. And actually, retired Pastor Tim Fellabaum and his wife Kate will be there. So we're hoping we can get the Presby pies out there too.
Awesome. All right. Well, this is a shout out to the Presbyterian Church. Get ready. People want the pies. I love the pies too. Got to be honest. Yeah, they have that sign out front and yep, it makes me hungry. Okay, moving on. Is there anything else I missed? We talked about the jail, the churches, particularly the Presbyterian Church. Any other stops that you want to talk about?
I don't think we talked too much about the library. The trolleys will be outside the library on Louisiana Avenue, and you can onboard there and get off. But we will also have Willard and Sophia Way in costume to portray them. They're quite funny. Mike and Sherry Robarge will be portraying them, and we're not quite sure where their location will be, but they will be somewhere either by the patio or the entryway doors from the parking lot. And the library is having a coloring contest that day. So you probably want to step inside and engage there a little bit too.
And one thing that I should point out is also happening in or near the library is Historic Perrysburg will be there selling some historic merchandise. Swag, if you will, so you can shout out your support for Perrysburg. But the item that we're most pleased about is we have made a ornament that's going to be a collector's item. It is of the statue of Perry, Commander Perry, and it's boxed really nicely in a gift box. These are limited, and they're also the inaugural piece of what we foresee as a decade-long collection. So every year for the next 10 years, our goal is to put out a different ornament with some iconic piece of Perrysburg history. So whether that is, Commodore Perry or a significant building.
Or the water tower.
Exactly.
With the people around the ring.
It is
So-
iconic, yeah.
Yeah, that's iconic. When
Yeah.
I think of Perrysburg,
Yeah.
I think about shooting up I-75 and you
Yep.
see the water tower with all the people. It's
And
like Perrysburg.
again, you are just showing that you're marketing oriented and you need to come on board because we're talking about fun ideas in the future. Like, do we put it out to the public to say, what would you like to see next? Or to say, these are the 3 things we're thinking of for this year. What gets the most votes? So that piece will be there. It is a limited number that we've had made. And as my mother likes to say, when it's gone, it's gone. So we will be selling those on site that day for $30 a piece. You can see them on our
They're
website.
beautiful. Yeah,
Really
very
nice.
pretty.
Really nice piece. So whether you live here now or you know someone who used to live here, it's a great gift idea.
Okay. Now I'm mentally going through the day. It starts at 12 noon. There's 2 trolleys. And I'm gonna choose the red one. I don't know who's gonna be on that, but let's say I get on the red trolley. Gary Franks is on there, and he's on the mic, right? He's not driving the bus, but
Correct.
he's on the mic, and he's talking about the things as the trolley stops at them or rolls past them, right? Is that
Correct.
how it works? Okay, and people can hop off,
Mm-hmm.
go explore, and then the next time the trolley comes around, they can hop back on, right?
Correct.
Whether it's the white one or the red one.
Correct.
That's right.
As long as there's room. All right. Now I'm picturing there could be a problem with not enough seats on the bus. So is that what we're talking about with a maximum of maybe 300 people? Or Joy, what's going on with the number of participants that can get on the trolleys?
So on our website, you will be able to find a sign-up link for Sign Up Genius. And if you really want to secure a seat on those trolleys, we will have, I believe it will be, you can register. The first 15 that register will get the first seats on each one of those step-off times. So they're going to step off, they're staggered. So the first one leaves at noon. The second one will leave at 12:15, so that it shortens the time that you're waiting. So they'll be staggered. So there will be 15 slots on each one of those that you can reserve a certified seat for. And then we will only be probably loading 20 more people behind that. And in the line is in a walk-up line. So if you want a seat for sure, get on our website, historicperrysburg.org, go to the Sign Up Genius link and reserve a spot for that, for a trolley. And we will have the trolley times. The step-off times will be on the website, so you can secure a spot.
Okay. So you can RSVP your spot or you can walk up.
Correct.
And you can Q&A on the bus because you know that our historians, as Joy said, know so much about Perrysburg. So if you have a question, they're a captive audience.
Okay. So how many people does each trolley hold? Do you happen to know?
30 to 40, I'm told. I did neglect to mention, we are planning a trolley preview day, August 24th, probably from 4 to 6 p.m. So the young man who's bringing us the trolley, his name is Bryce Buterer. Familiar name in town for folks. His family owns Buterer Compounding Pharmacy. So he has been very gracious and generous to us. So he will be bringing the trolleys, and he will bring the white one for a preview August 24th to the Louisiana side of the library, so folks can actually see it if they'd like to. And we will have a much better idea of exactly how the seating works, because I actually have not seen the trolleys other than in photos. So we'll have a preview day then.
And that's Monday, August 24th?
Correct.
Okay. Do we have a time yet?
4 to 6.
Oh, you said that. Sorry.
It's okay.
That's all right. I think the audience probably enjoys the repeat of the information as well. And I was just writing it down while you guys were talking about it. So that's good. I'll put it on my calendar too, because my son loves transportation, my older son, Craig.
Mhm.
So he'll probably want to check it out too. Just sit on it. He'll probably want to go for a ride. I don't know if Bryce is giving rides, but he'll want to go.
It's a photo op, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, kind of like when the Wienermobile comes to town and parks at Churchill's. That thing, I love that car. That's like my dream car. It's just so fun. All right. Well, I'm getting a better idea of this. You get on the trolley, you can, get on and off. Once you do the complete tour, you're kind of done. But for anybody that doesn't want to ride, are there other things that they can do? They can just walk around town maybe and listen to some stories?
Absolutely. You can engage with all of our storytellers and reenactors in the 100 and 200 blocks. One of the things that comes to mind, there are just so many that we'll have out there. It'll be a fun day. There was a Chevy dealer on the corner in Louisiana and Indiana where Perry's Landing is now. And so we've engaged a couple of the old Chevy cars. I'm not sure exactly what years we will have there yet, but the word has it there might be a pretty cool Corvette show up. So we'll have a few old Chevys to go with the old Chevy dealership. But yeah, you can walk the 100, 200 blocks and obviously Front Street and see some of the old buildings, learn some history about what those buildings were. There was a fire in town in the 1870s that took a significant amount of those buildings down. So they were rebuilt. So there's just a lot of history there.
I feel like maybe Joy should be one of the historians on a bus as backup. The more I hear her talk.
Yeah, you certainly have learned quite a bit about the town. So much respect to you for
Thank you.
being a historian.
And I'm not a historian really by nature. But
You're an enthusiastic
Yes,
amateur
yes.
historian.
Yeah, I would say I'm similar, like enthusiastic amateur historian. That's a really great term. I was reading the Then and Now book by Gary Franks and Mark Weber, and I discovered all kinds of things that I then wanted to show my husband. So again, an amateur, but I remember taking him to the Caranor, and we went to the parking lot, and there's an old train station there, and it says Perrysburg on it, and you wouldn't even know it's there unless you go looking for it. So when I read about that, I drove over there with my husband, like I said, and he was impressed. He's
Yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
I didn't know about that.
And that will be one of the things they will hear on the trolley as they
Awesome.
come to the Caranor building.
Very cool. I've been there for so many bridal showers, baby showers, things like that, wedding receptions, etc. And I've driven past it and not even known it was
Thought
there.
it was like a shed in the back.
How dare I? Yes, I did think it was a shed in the back. I didn't know. Well, you kind of got to look because there's
Right.
tree at this time of the year, there are leaves on the trees, but in October, maybe not so much. Yeah, so when people hop off, they can go look for that specific item.
There is just so much history all around us. And I feel like that is one of, or part of the mission of a group like Historic Perrysburg and an event like this is just to point things out to people who live here or come here regularly for farmers market and just see it as a charming town, but aren't aware of how much history is around them. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Lewis Henry Gates show about finding your roots. There's just so much interesting stuff in each and every town in America. And it has to be pointed out to you, or you have to ask because you just don't know the story. The same way people don't know the stories of their own families and how they came here and what the struggle was. There really is so much fascinating history here in town. And another book that I was recently looking through, which I think it's Richard's, and it's The Voices of Perrysburg. And in it, he speaks to all these different families that have been long time in Perrysburg, and they're sharing their experiences of the town, which are quite historical in nature, even if they're like from the 40s or the 50s. And it's really engrossing.
You said he wrote a book about this?
Oh, yeah. My mom has it. And it's a big, like the size of a coffee table book or like a school yearbook. And the index is by family. And there's just a lot of fascinating stories. Yeah. And I thought it was like from the 70s or the 80s, but I think it was actually copyrighted in 2015. But it's just one more. I mean, when you talk about the things that these guys know,
There's a lot of good information in the local history room at the Way Public Library. It's a charming room. There's a great table to sit and meet and talk to people. There's so much reference material there.
And
that-
photographs on
and
the wall.
photographs. Yeah.
Yeah. That's something that the historians on the trolleys will have to point out.
Right.
When you stop at Way Public Library, if you've never been in the
Mm-hmm.
local history room, today's your day.
Today's your day. Yep.
Yeah. And next time I go to the library and I see Richard, I will have to ask him where his book is, because I bet they have a copy of it right there at Way
I'm
Public
sure.
Library.
Yep.
Yeah.
Between him and Gary and Mark, there's a lot of books. There's a lot of information.
Yep. We're very lucky that we have people who are so happy to share it too.
Yeah.
Yes.
We really are. We have, as old towns go, we're very blessed with the interest that we have here of people who are willing and excited to keep the history alive and keep it fresh. And I don't believe that there's a lot of local history taught in the schools, because I don't believe it's on any of the curriculum. So, some of it gets covered when you cover the War of 1812, but really there isn't any local history and in the curriculum. So it's good for us to get out there. And also the kids with the token, they'll be able to engage with Willard and Sophia.
That's
so
such
they
a
will
great idea.
know, who are these people? Well, why are they significant? This is why.
Yeah, and I love that Willard and Mrs. Way will be at the Way Public
They
Library.
will be there.
How appropriate.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, how much does it cost to participate in this event?
This is a free event. This is completely sponsored by our sponsors that we mentioned earlier, Experience Perrysburg, Perrysburg Rotary Community Foundation, and Historic Perrysburg, Inc. We wanted this to be a free event for the town so people could just engage and have a good time that day and get people back into the downtown area.
I love that. Free events, but the information is priceless, right?
That's right. It is. Historic
Well said.
history is priceless.
It is. I love the mission of Historic Perrysburg, Inc. about telling the stories and also engaging people. And I love that you talk about the architecture too. So I just love Historic Perrysburg, Inc. And are you looking for more members?
We are. And this year we've kind of been, let's call it regathering. Obviously, we're not the only organization that, really slowed down during and post-COVID. So we're in a rebuilding phase. And this is actually a great jump off to a lot of activity that will be, I say a lot, let's not get crazy, more frequent events next year is what we're really looking for. An events that we put on, free events mostly for the community to engage with the history of Perrysburg, of Ohio, of the country, what it means to them. So we are putting together a more robust program for next year. There's more walking tours to be had. There's more events where people can learn how to find their own history. So, yeah, we're looking for members. We're always happy to have folks support financially, but we really would like to have more people become hands-on members. So we're going to offer more opportunities to do so next year.
Yeah. Obviously, if our membership goes up, the amount of events we can host is going to get better. We also introduced a corporate sponsorship level this year, so we would be very happy to partner with some corporate sponsors as well.
Okay, that's a good shout out. And if anybody wants to learn more about that, Caroline.
They can reach out to us via the website, or if they want to reach out to myself or Joy or anyone else that they know is on the board. One thing I will say we're looking for someone who would like to, in a volunteer capacity, handle our social media. We have tons of information, so easy to put it into little, snackable bites, fun bites on social, but we need somebody who has a real passion for that and an ease with that and a flair with that. We're happy to give you all the content and have you make it look real engaging and to regularly be posting. So that could be any member of the community. That could be a high schooler who's much better at social than anyone older. No disrespect, no ageism, but someone who is a digital native. If a high schooler is interested in history, or a college student who is looking for some kind of internship opportunity, or someone who just loves history, loves Perrysburg, and is good at social. You can be 30 or you can be 75. Just reach out.
Okay. I know you have a contact form on historicperrysburg.org. Is
Correct.
that the best way to get in touch with you about
Yep.
that?
Yep.
HistoricPerrysburg.org.
Well, as we start to wrap this up, I want to make sure that we covered everything that we should. Who can attend or participate? We didn't talk about that. Who's invited to this shindig?
Any and all.
Everyone.
Everybody, visitors and residents alike.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And how to participate? It sounds like you can just walk up to any of the storytellers and engage, but also it sounds like you can RSVP for the trolleys. Tell me more, Caroline.
Well, as Joy was saying, with the trolleys, that save a seat is really if you know that you're on a time schedule that day or you might have some accessibility issues, you might feel more comfortable if you're like, I know when I get there at 1:15, I have a seat on the bus. So we invite you to check out our website. It will be updated with the actual trolley time. So you can say, I want a seat at 2:30. So we welcome people doing that. We love it. It kind of gives us an idea of what to expect as well. But just like last time, you're out for the day. You just walk up to the Way Library and you'll see the timetable for the trolleys. You know, you could be out and about and just decide you want to do it and you can hop on and off. If you decide, you're at the 577, you can hop off there and spend an hour or two there if you want and just wait for another trolley. So really, we're doing everything we can to make sure that this is something that has appeal for the widest group of people and making it very easy for them to do a little or everything that day.
It's family day. We are up against a Michigan University home game, but hey, this will be more fun.
People can watch on their phones here and there. I know that the audience can't see this, but Joy had brought some handouts, and there's actually a map of where the trolley stops. So, Joy, where can the audience find that map?
Well, we will be publishing it in the Messenger Journal. It will go out probably a week or two prior to the event. We will also have newsies on the street, the old-fashioned newsies, extra, hear all about it. You can get the Sips and Stories Gazette from one of them, which will have a map. All of the storytellers and reenactors will be listed there. All of the merchants and what you can find at those merchant stops will be listed there. What else will be on there? Just about everything is on there.
There'll be some, I think you have some like little historical information on there. You have who's on the buses, I thought, or the trolleys, excuse me, who'll be our guides on the trolleys. Yeah.
Okay, so the day of the event, for sure, you can find out, where all the stops are, who's on which trolley, and all that good stuff.
Also outside the library, there will be an information desk. It's the same location where you can purchase the HPI hats and ornament, but you can get them there, or you can get them from one of the newsies in town, and they will be in the 100-200 block.
Okay. 100 or 200 block of Louisiana Avenue, just for visitors. I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Because I think the residents all know what we're talking about there.
Right.
If you know where the library is, that's where we're talking about. Awesome. Well, as we wrap this up, anything else you'd like to talk about?
Just thank you to all of the sponsors. Thank you to the army of workers and helpers we have. It's no easy task to pull something like this together. So thank you to everybody who's volunteered their time and talent.
Joy has been an amazing commander of this. She really, I know that she has spent nights just thinking and changing and putting so much effort and love into it. This is really 90% Joy's idea of what the day should be. And yes, she is connected with people who are like-minded. So I know that she has, would it be generals at her side?
Yeah, an army of them.
Well, good luck to you both as you finish planning this. And thank you very much for being here, coming back to the Perrysburg Podcast to talk about Sips and Stories.
Thanks for having us. And we'll expect to see you there, Kim.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be there. Yeah, I've never done it before. Looking forward to it.
Save your seat. Historic Perrysburg.
I should. All right. Thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Joy Studer and Caroline Hoffmann from Historic Perrysburg, Inc. for being on the show again today. They did a great job getting us all up to speed on Sips and Stories. I plan to preview that white trolley sometime between 4 and 6 p.m. on this upcoming Monday, August 24th, on the Louisiana Avenue side of Way Public Library. I think my son Craig will really like checking that out. My family's also planning to take a trolley tour on Saturday, October 24th. Sips and Stories, it's our first time. I'm excited. I'm not sure what time we'll go, but with the trolleys running from noon to 4, we have options, right? I'm thinking about 3 o'clock, right in the middle of the afternoon. And we may even reserve seats ahead of time. And I do like that the trolleys leave from Way Public Library. We definitely know where that is. We're at the library all the time. But if you're a visitor and you need the address for your GPS, it is 101 East Indiana Avenue, Perrysburg, Ohio 43551. Way Public Library is in the historic downtown Perrysburg area at the corner of Indiana and Louisiana Avenues. Now, as somebody who has never been to this event, I am definitely looking forward to the trolley ride, but I'm also looking forward to hearing from the historians on the trolley. Richard Baranowski and Gary Franks have both been on the Perrysburg podcast. They're both excellent storytellers, and I'm just looking forward to hearing what they have to say. And depending on how much we hop on and hop off, maybe we'll get to hear stories from each of them. Who knows? Meeting the other storytellers and reenactors around town sounds like fun too. We'll have to walk around and see who we bump into. I'm also looking forward to seeing how the newsies are dressed. The newsies are going to pass out maps, and say, extra, extra, read all about it. I've seen newsies in old pictures, never in person. So I'm looking forward to seeing the hat, especially. I've heard they have a hat that is very recognizable. And then as far as the ice cream, I know I don't have little kids anymore, so my kids are not probably going to get the tokens, but I do want to see what the tokens look like. And if you're a visitor listening to this, I can vouch for the Oh Dear Diners ice cream. They have good ice cream. So whether you're a kid getting a free ice cream or an adult, check out the ice cream. It is good. Back to the tokens, though, I just want to see how they're stamped. I have seen tokens from the Oh Dear Diner over the past decade or so, and I'm just kind of curious how they might be different for this event. I guess we'll find out on October 24th. And as a member of the 21 and older crowd, I'm also curious to see which sips will be available that day, especially the ones that go in a Dora cup. A Dora cup is the designated outdoor refreshment area cup. So you can have alcohol and walk around with it in certain parts of historic downtown Perrysburg. I hope to make it all the way to the grand finale at 5 p.m. on the Commodore lawn. I'd like to see the curtain call, I think Joy called it, with all the storytellers, the historic portrayers, and the reenactors. And I would also like to see Ryan Weekman's America 250 toast. Not only do I want to hear what he has to say, but I want to see what he's drinking. Maybe he'll have if there's a signature cocktail, maybe he'll be drinking that. And I can't remember the last time I heard the Bradberries. It's probably at Music at the Market. So I plan to stick around for at least a couple of songs as well. And at some point during the event, I also hope to take a closer look at that ornament that Caroline was describing. It has Commodore Perry on it. It's being sold by Historic Perrysburg Inc. at Way Public Library. So there's a lot to see and do that day. I'm looking forward to experiencing my first Sips and Stories. Sips and Stories sounds like a very fun, family friendly event with plenty to do. Like I said, I'll be there and I hope to see you there too. If you see me walking around, feel free to stop me and introduce yourself. I love meeting my audience. It's funny, you sit and you talk and you have interviews and you put it out there on the podcast players, but it is very rewarding to meet my audience. So if you see me out in the community, stop by, say hi. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening to episode 156 of the Perrysburg Podcast. Visit perrysburgpodcast.com to read the show notes. In the show notes, you'll find links to Sips and Stories, Historic Perrysburg Inc., Experience Perrysburg, the Perrysburg Rotary Community Foundation, my other interview with Joy and Caroline, and more. Everything you need is on perrysburgpodcast.com. If you would like to receive an email notification every time a new episode of the Perrysburg Podcast becomes available, sign up for the newsletter on perrysburgpodcast.com. there's actually a link straight to the newsletter sign up. It is perrysburgpodcast.com/newsletter. You can also subscribe to or follow the Perrysburg Podcast on your favorite podcast player or on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Go ahead and share this episode with your friends and neighbors, especially the ones who love local history. That's all I've got for you today. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next month.